Welcome everyone to the first of series of webinars focused on end-to-end digital publishing solutions. I'm Charles Blanchard, President and CEO of Blanchard Systems. Today we're showcasing digital asset management as an integral part of an end-to-end strategy with our partners from WoodWing Software. Just a quick note before we begin, you can use a zoom button located on the upper left screen to expand the image to cover the entire screen if it's hard to see. We'll be answering your questions at the end of the webinar, so please, if you have questions about anything you see, submit them using the GoToWebinar Questions panel. Many of you may be familiar with WoodWing's editorial management system, Enterprise. Enterprise is used by many publishers today to streamline production for print, web, tablet, mobile, as well as social media campaigns. With the ever-growing number of devices and their different digital sizes, aspect ratios, applications, and operating systems, the demand on publishers to create alternative digital content is growing at an exponential rate. Keeping track of all those assets is putting production demands on publishers like no other time in history. What used to be a single publication production schedule is now multiplied in the equivalent of producing 5, 10, or even 20 publications for just one. So how do you keep up with all these assets while producing exponentially more and more? We feel you do it by choosing a DAM system made with an end-to-end digital publishing solution in mind. That system is Elvis, and we're going to show you how it can help you keep up with your growing number of assets. I'd like to introduce Fred. Don't forget, during this demo, write down any questions that you have inside of the webinar, and we'll be sure to answer them in the questions and answer period after the demo's over. Fred,
if you have a question, if you just put them in your control panel, there's a questions tab. Just enter the questions in there, and we'll be happy to answer them at the end. Yes, go ahead and pass it over to me, Charles.
Everybody enjoy the demo. Thanks, Fred.
Good day, everybody. Hopefully you should be seeing my screen now. Please let me know, Keith, if you can't see me.
Everything looks great.
All right. So we're looking at Elvis Client. I'm already logged in. This is the client application. There's also a web app client that can be used as well. We'll kind of cover that a little bit later. But for now, the full features of everything are inside the client application we see here. So basically what you're looking at is a DAM solution, and we have some basic functions that you see in most DAM solutions. Obviously, you're going to be able to do a simple search for anything that's tagged with the word duo in it, for instance. You see a bunch of images. From my system in here, these are sorted inside of the system in different folders and stuff. Then we can, after we do a basic search, go ahead and do some filtering. So we want to filter, kind of get down into more of the criteria of what we're actually looking for. I could do that by a bunch of different things, including statuses, type of file, for instance, if I'm looking for just JPEGs or just PDF files or anything like that, kind of simply going through that and delving down further and further into the file. I can also do that based on it there. I can click on Duo 2014 specifically, maybe anything that's at a podium or in the room. So basically, as I'm delving down, it's looking further into the common metadata that's in the files I've found in my search, and let me choose those and specifically choose what I want to find from there. On my search results, I can save those search results into a kind of common area if this is a search I'm doing often. I can do that here. I can view this differently as well. So I'm kind of in the gallery view here, and I can change the zooming function there, or I can view in a list view. I can change the metadata that's being shown with the images simply by clicking the metadata tab here, and this is all the different metadata. I have options to choose of what I want to see with the file. So I can kind of customize my view, customize what I'm seeing. If I'm happy with my results, though, I can go ahead and choose those. If I want to go ahead and make a collection, just simply drag it up there, quickly make a collection of the files I've had selected. And from my collection, I can do things like maybe share them with somebody. So I can get their input, get their approvals, for instance. So I just simply click on share, maybe give them a little note to add some additional images. And then basically can say how long this share is going to last. So I can give it a date by calendar or in a year. Give them specific permissions on the share. So I allow them to download the images. I'm asking them to do approvals. And I want them to be able to upload since I'm asking them to add some additional images. And I can direct where their upload is going to go on my file system. Also, I can have a notification email. So this is an email address that will be notified when whoever I'm sharing this to is going to go ahead and has added images, for instance. So I can send this out as an email, create a web gallery of it, simply save it, or in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and copy the link, jump into a web browser, and basically by clicking that link that would be in an email, or if I Skyped it to somebody, they would have it. They're taken straight into my Elvis system through a web browser without any credentials. So I could also say this out where they require credentials, but in this case, I'm not requiring this. I can just share this out to anybody. Excuse me. So if you see, here are the images that are in my collection. They can simply come in here if they want, do approvals, rejections on the files, anything that they want to do like that. You can get a closer view of the images as well. This is available inside of the client application as well. Kind of going in here, looking through it, going back to the gallery. They could add metadata if I gave them the rights to. They can see all the metadata they want. Again, they can add any of the metadata criteria they want to see inside of the metadata panel here. If they want to download it, of course, they got the download button, download the preview, launch this in the full desktop client if they want to work with it there. Or in this case, since I've asked them to upload images, they can click upload, browse to their file system, either drag and drop or simply browsing to files on the file system. Add those in. What you'll see is they're being uploaded to the system right now. We're extracting all the metadata of the files in the upload. If I wanted to do additional tags, I could tag these additionally here before I upload them. Once I hit import, they're basically going to be imported into my Elvis system and available inside of that collection. So if I come back into Elvis here, go back to my collection, the additional images are in there now that that person uploaded. I will have email notification as well. My email client was open, and they can see all the images, maybe go through additional approvals, anything like that they want. Again, on the right-hand side, you see here, just like the web client that we just saw, there's all the metadata I have available for the files. Show it. I can go through and do star ratings of files, so full approvals, anything I want to do like that on the files. Nice thing inside of Elvis as well is, besides just viewing things like a typical asset management system would, where I'm basically looking at tags, doing searches, criteria, everything that's behind the scenes is based on the file system. So I actually do have a file system structure I can use for filing files and kind of browse through it. I have a demo area that I drop everything into. I can also break it down by my specific users. Come in here and look in the user folders by permissions and grant permissions for users to do specific things. But if I want to go ahead and kind of look at some files I've selected and I'm working on, can have files I've selected in here, again, drag them into a folder, or they've been uploaded, going through my sharing process to get to files. I want to show you a couple of things we've done from Blanchard Systems perspective to integrate Elvis with a product like Dalim Dialog, which is a soft roofing application by Dalim. So, for instance, if I grab this file and go ahead and check it out, so we have full check-in, check-out capabilities. I can check out this file. Go ahead and open that inside of Photoshop. I have my image opened here. Actually, I should have done something else first. Excuse me one second. if I want to do this, I want to show dialogue, so I'm going to go ahead and launch this inside the dialogue client. So what I'm doing now is basically I've clicked the link inside the file. It's launching it using my dialogue engine to view high-res view of this image and allow me to do approvals if I want, as well as annotations on the file, and basically use the full tool set of Dalim to, even if I wanted to view channel spaces of the file, do everything I can do inside of a full soft proofing application. So I can go ahead and, for instance, draw an area here, maybe ask that pole be removed. Any kind of annotations I want like that. I can go ahead and reject this file, add a rejection comment. And all of that is going to be updated inside of Elvis itself on the file. So if I view this file, as I view my rights on my file, that will actually be updated and update on that file. So as I did before, I checked out the file and opened it in Photoshop. I'm going to do some just quick and dirty retouching here. So I've actually had that selected already. Go ahead and flatten that. Basically check that back into Elvis. And Elvis will know that the file's been updated and can be updated, and we have the new revision of the file. So now when I go ahead and view this inside of Dialog, we'll see we have multiple revisions. We see our previous comments, and I can do comparisons of the file and actually compare it to this one here. So I can do comparisons of the file and do like a side-by-side comparison where I'm viewing the actual differences in the file, or and if I select that correctly, sorry, and view what's changed inside the file, view side-by-side comparison, and go ahead and do my approvals as I need to inside the file. So all that's integrated in between Dialog Engine as a full soft proofing annotation application and the Elvis client, so that we can do updates. We can see that notes have been added to the file. We see the file's been approved. All that's seen inside the file. We can do more with the check in and check out processes. Say we have an Indesign page. I can go ahead and check this Indesign page out. Go ahead and open that in Indesign. And we're basically working in between Elvis and Indesign as a client here. So I've opened it up inside Indesign, and now I want to go ahead and place my images. I can actually go ahead and check these images out straight from Elvis. Jump to Indesign. Oops. And go ahead and place those in my Indesign document. Maybe do any tweaks if I'm doing some more text editing, whatever I want to do in here. Go ahead and save that back out into Elvis. It'll see it's been updated. Check it back in. And now I have my new updated document. And what you'll notice is inside of here, we also track all of the linked elements, so it knows the images that are linked. This chameleon is something that was put in there before. We also keep full track of versions of the file. So see, I was playing with the file earlier, multiple versions, where I've placed the images, going again. And all that's available through a history on the file. So I'm actually able to view the history of the file. If I don't like the one I'm currently at, so I messed my instructions up or something, I can always go back to one and actually promote the previous version back up to the current version and kind of deal with revision tracking here and keeping track of those. And what it'll do is actually it'll keep that version, make a copy, and make a new current version that is from the version 4. So you don't lose version 4, it just creates a new one. Keeps track of who's creating that. I should have shown that with the dialogue as well, as keeping track of who's actually doing the specific things. And then basically, you can go on, do full work in between the design, Photoshop, tracking revisions of all the images, doing annotations using Dialog Engine. We also are working on integration with Twist, so using WebLink we're able to send a twist, kind of view the file, choose a workflow, submit, change the variables inside of our workflow twist. For those of you who are familiar with Twist, is a workflow engine from Dalim, allows processing of files, so we can extend Elvis out to do file conversions of anything we need. Normalization of PDF files, for instance, all that could be done. We can just submit that through to Twist that way. So we've worked with the API from Twist, API from Dialog Engine, all using Elvis's API itself to extend it out. There's a lot of other things that you can do, plugins as far as extending the use of Elvis. So for instance, if we have a bunch of images selected here, there's a plugin created that we can use to create contact sheets, for instance. The contact sheets can quickly be changed. And we can brand this, put corporate logos on it, change the look and feel of this if you want to, and go ahead and print out contact sheets of that. That's done by extending Elvis out via using plugins and their API. We have different things as well, for instance, and let me go into a different folder here. If I want to look at GPS information, for instance, on files or files that have GPS information in it, I can select these files, show a map, and they have a integration they've done with Google Maps that will actually show the GPS positioning of all the images that you have. If you have an image that is not, because if you look down here, you'll actually see the ones that are tagged. You'll actually see where they're tagged at, where the location is. If you have one that's not tagged, for instance, this Strasbourg image here, because it was done on my Canon, you could actually take it, drop it, and tag it yourself if you want to find the city or wherever it was at. Tag that, and I've now put geolocation information into the XMP data of my file. So very easy to extend Elvis out and kind of extend what it can do inside of here. You're also able to view statistics. So through a plugin, you can view statistics of what the usage is on your Elvis server, how many downloads are being done, imports, how many files are being imported. You can see I was preparing for the demo, kind of doing that. Hadn't touched the Elvis server a bit before that. Growth details, you can get a lot of different statistics. Again, this is all using plugins. And also, and I should go ahead and grab my InDesign page here. Select an InDesign page, and actually let me view the history of this and kind of change that back on the revision to show something real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and promote this one back. So it's got some images on it. That's better. And now to select this, I can also view a usage report. What the usage report will basically do is show me all the images that have been used inside the document. If they have any usage fees or usage rights associated with them, it'll do that. It'll calculate a cost for them and show you all that based on your InDesign layout as well. So, and these are basically, there's an API into Elvis that allows you to create these on your own, integrated into other applications. They have it integrated obviously into WoodWing Enterprise, things like that. So you can definitely extend that out. What you'll see here on the left hand side is basically, as we showed before, basically all my browsing ability. I'm able to browse my folder structure, do my searches, pull up my previous search results here as well. I have basically, this is the saved results. This is the recents, so all the recent results I have here. In the middle is a taxonomy area. So it fully supports taxonomy. You can create your own, or they have a pool of specific ones that are already built in to Elvis. So if I come in here, go into sport, for instance, I'm looking maybe for a specific competitive discipline, American football. View all my files associated with American football. There's a Saints. I'm kind of a Saints fan. If I want to do crossbow shooting, again, looking at that. So I'm going in my taxonomy and viewing the files based on the taxonomy that's associated with them. You see, I'm able to either search on it or actually tag things as part of that taxonomy here. So all that's kept on the left-hand side. Again, the middle area is basically your viewing area or your gallery area, and the right's your metadata linked and your collections. And that's kind of a tour of what Elvis is. As a quick client, we have other capabilities that we can talk about during a full demo and show you how it's integrated with things like Enterprise, or show you how it can be integrated using the plugin. We've done, as you can see, a good bit of work on that and can extend it out. So on that, Charles, that's kind of a quick tour. So.
I'm muted. Keith, I'm muted.
No, you're on.
All right, yeah. Okay, I'm not muted. Great. No, thank you, Fred, for that demonstration. I believe Keith is going to go over some questions that we had from the audience. Keith?
Yep, we have a couple of great questions. Hopefully we'll have some time to get to most, if not all. If we don't get to them all, we'll respond back to you via email on an answer. First question we have is, does Elvis support OpenCali?
Yeah, I actually should have covered that during the demo. Yeah, it does support OpenCali. Put the plugin in, and I think I should have a few examples here.
Well, yeah. Maybe you want to start off with what is OpenCali, Fred?
So OpenCali is basically, as you don't know, is kind of an indexing tool. So it can run on the server, look inside the file. So it can take a look inside of a PDF file, look at the content of the text inside the PDF file, and create tags based on that information. So for instance, if you see, basically what I did inside this folder is uploaded the Dalim user manual elements. And if we look here and look at our metadata, and make sure I'm viewing it, should be. Yeah, so here's my kind of OpenCali. This isn't anything I've tagged specifically inside the file, but based on the information inside that PDF, it found format, groupware, management, software, all that as tags for it. And I'm sure some of these have some more interesting. It found state Connecticut mentioned in that file. Position general, an industry term, basic tool inside of that one. Twist manager as a product, it found in here. Position, PostScript as a language. So you see all of this is basically these. I didn't do any tagging at all to these files. I just dropped them in the folder, and OpenCali went to work on these files, looked through the information in them. There's one good bit of information on industry terms, for instance, on different social tags. So it went and tagged all this information to extend out your tagging capabilities inside of Elvis.
And Fred, all of these PDFs that you're showing, Elvis actually indexes all the text inside of them on
yes.
top of what we're looking at in OpenCali from a searching standpoint, correct?
That's correct. From a searching standpoint, even without OpenCali, you could actually search on the text inside of the files. But with OpenCali, you're extending it out to additional tags.
From a tagging, that's so from a tagging standpoint. Cool. Okay.
Correct.
Any more, Keith?
All right. Yep, another question. Is it possible to segregate data from different groups? For example, could I create a different database under the hood so I don't mix metadata from Division A with assets from Division B?
Okay. Jeff, do you want to maybe answer that? You might be a little bit better to answer that tonight.
So I should real quickly introduce Jeff Gapp.
Yeah.
He's here with WoodWing. He is the evangelist. So Jeff, if you're there, that'd be great. Maybe we might have lost Jeff.
Well, Jeff is online. He's unmuted. Maybe you have a personal mute going on, Jeff.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it says he's offline currently, Keith.
I can take a stab at the question then.
First of all, so basically segregating the data. Fred.
So first of all, there's no database behind Elvis itself. It's all based on Lucene indexing at a file system level, and doesn't have a database that stores the information in, which is one of the things that makes it very fast and makes it very easy to handle up to, in the next version coming out, or just released actually, handle up to 1 billion assets on it. As far as keeping metadata and all that, that's all based on how your groups and your basically user rights are created for your system. So you can kind of filter out who sees what information, basically how much they can do inside the application and what assets they have rights to. All that is done by management of the permissions themselves. So hopefully that answered that question.
I think also you might be able to use collections or something. I think it was about
collections are just
metadata.
Collections are just ways to create private areas of kind of projects you're working on.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to be,
but the tagging and the metadata can be controlled based on your permissions.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people have that interest, especially like for taxonomies, because you may have a specific taxonomy for someone who deals with cars versus somebody who deals with sports, for instance, and you want to be able to change that by the user.
Right. Okay.
All right. Another question: can I create my own web client?
Yeah. Because of the API, there is a kind of full web client that is part of. Comes with Elvis, for instance. It's a little bit more limited in functionality than the full app that we're seeing here. They are working, though, towards as being feature for feature identical to the app. But other than that, they're basically
that's
several ways
coming up pretty soon. That's coming up in the next in the middle of next year, where it's HTML5. So it is complete. Yes.
Right. There's several ways, though, to extend out what you want to do with Elvis. If you want to build a specific web look for specific functions, for instance, here's an example of one that's an upload portal. So this is just a way to quickly, and actually let me go do it through Firefox. Yep, yeah. If I can get it to behave with the username. Yeah. Okay, let me try one of the other ones. Okay, for instance, Web CMS, for WordPress, so you can use the API inside of WordPress and basically browse your Elvis system inside of here. And I think I'm going to have to quit my user changed, unfortunately, because of the sharing.
Take your time. Make it
work. Yeah, if I can get that to clear out, it'll be nice. And come on. I just needed to give me a login screen here, and I'll be okay. And in fact, let me see this. Sorry. Quit the browser.
Well, I think the short answer, Fred,
the short answer
while you're working
you can
on
extend it out.
Yeah.
And basically use the API to create basically any kind of look and feel you want inside of Elvis. So.
So basically,
we have samples of those that we can provide to you and basically allow you to kind of roam through those. Unfortunately, mine's locked out for some reason because of my user.
Well, it's alive now.
We've got a couple of additional questions if we can run through these and maybe circle back on that. Let's see. Does Elvis support video assets? And if so, could you speak a bit to the functionality around video?
Sure. Let's see if I have some samples here. So basically, Elvis supports any asset you can drop into it. Even if it can't create a preview, it is an asset. It can associate metadata if there's XMP information in it. For video, they do actually parse those out. You can actually view them inside of Elvis. And basically any other things that you do inside of Elvis to a file, for instance, approving, rejecting, rating them, tagging metadata, so you see all the different metadata associated with this video in here. All of that is supported inside of Elvis. For the annotation stuff like I showed in Dialog Engine, currently the integration we did would not support video, but we could actually integrate it with a full-blown ES system and integrate video annotation that is available from ES inside of here as well.
Which I think dovetails into the next question perfectly is what future integrations do you have planned?
Charles, if you want to speak to that, you want me to?
Sure. Yeah, so We've shown the first of a couple of integrations with Elvis, so that is the dialogue engine integration. As Fred talked to, I believe, in the demo, we'll be integrating more and more both Elvis and Enterprise, and I realize we haven't really spoken a lot about Enterprise, but the Enterprise is WoodWing's editorial management workflow solution. So we'll be integrating that with the Twist workflow engine, as well as some of our other products like Virtual Publisher, even SendMyAd in some instances, and as well as the Dalim products, ES, Twist, and Dialogue. So you'll see a lot more integration efforts from us, especially as we move forward, and we're going to be doing some additional webinars. This is the first of them, and as those integrations happen, we're going to be showing the additional functionality and how those systems can all connect together with the WoodWing products. I do think it's also important, I don't know if everyone heard Fred, but with the latest version of Elvis, that was 1 billion assets that are supported with a B, just to make sure no one thought it was 1 million, because it's pretty significant what WoodWing has done with this product. It's a very elaborate product and very powerful because of its index engine that it uses. I mean, it is just, as you add assets, it does not change the speed or the performance of the product. It's amazing. I guess, Fred, you've got some of your web stuff working now.
It decided to work now for some reason.
Good. Well, so, it's live demo.
As Charles was talking, finally my login cleared here. And so just to show you a couple of things that we have just as samples, the one we're looking at right here is basically a live feed into Elvis itself. So I can put a refresh on, I can put this up on a board, and basically as assets are uploaded into Elvis, this will always show the last assets that were uploaded. So you'll see here the ones that are today. So these are including the Worldwide Technology Meeting ones I uploaded recently, and the other 3 images that I was working with in the Indesign page. Since they were uploaded today, they show here. As I upload more and more images, this will keep refreshing basically and showing me the latest. Just one view. Upload portal, as I said, just a way to upload files, tag them with information, upload them in. The download, actually the syndication site. So this is just kind of a way to create a look into Elvis that adds a basket type function, so you can actually sell images through using Elvis as the engine behind it. Download portal, browse your images, download those. So see a bunch of different views. Approval tool was something that somebody was working on and just kind of skinning things, looking through them, and basically a way to select files, drag them on, again, just basically using Elvis as an engine for that. So a lot of ways to skin it, a lot of ways to make it, you look and use Elvis basically as an engine behind the scenes.
Okay, I think we've got time for one last question, which we probably should have covered in the very beginning. And as I say, not really a technical question, but is Blanchard a WoodWing reseller?
What was the question, Keith? I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Is Blanchard a WoodWing reseller? We probably should have covered that in the initial presentation.
Yes, we're a gold WoodWing reseller, and currently offering WoodWing solutions, and also, like I said, integrating some of our custom solutions with the WoodWing products. Yes.
Okay, I think we've covered most of the questions. If you guys have anything else to add, I think we're good.
No, I'd just like to thank everyone, and thank you, Fred, for the demonstration. Thank everyone for attending. Please contact us if you need more information or if we can answer any other questions. And take a look at our upcoming webinars that can be found on our events page. Please register for them, and hopefully we'll see you on one of our future webinars. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.